And we're going through the same process with the NIH that we did with the education.
But there's a time
$2
clock
million for injecting dogs with cocaine that the NIH spent money on, $75,000 for Harvard to study blowing lizards off of trees with leaf blowers. That's the kind of waste that we've seen at the NIH.
A few decades ago, NIH-funded researchers spent years studying the venom of a tiny tropical marine snail called a cone snail. What's interesting about that snail is that instead of biting, it stabs its prey with like a tooth that contains paralyzing neurotoxins. Scientists at the time were isolating peptides to see how they affected nerve signaling in animals. If I were being dishonest and working for a government that wanted to cut scientific research funding, I would use this as an example of waste and tell you that your tax dollars are going towards studying venomous sea snails and how their toxic spit affects fish brains. Seems pretty wasteful. That research led to the discovery of a peptide that blocks pain by shutting down calcium channels in the spinal cord. And that became the foundation for a non-opioid pain medication that's now used to treat chronic pain in people who have like cancer treatments or spinal cord injuries, especially in people who don't respond well to opioids or who are at risk of addiction. In the 1960s and 1970s, NIH-funded scientists spent their time destroying bone marrow in mice with ionizing radiation and then injecting them with bone marrow from other mice to see what would happen. If I were working for a government that wanted to cut scientific research funding, I might say to you that your tax dollars are going towards zapping mice with radiation and then injecting them with foreign tissue to see what happened. Those NIH-funded studies led to something that we now know as graft versus host disease, which is a deadly complication when transplanted immune cells attack the recipient's body. And that discovery led to improved donor matching protocols and targeted immune suppressing drugs, which made bone marrow transplants a viable treatment for leukemia. Those breakthroughs saved my dad's life when he received a successful bone marrow transplant after being diagnosed with leukemia when I was a kid. This is why NIH funding matters. The NIH is the world's leading medical research agency. It funds basic research that sometimes seems aimless or obscure or even wasteful at first to some people, but it is the foundation for life-saving medical breakthroughs. And right now, the Trump administration is trying to cut the NIH budget by 40% by saying that much of its research is wasteful. It's not.